How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Wednesday here on the show. You know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. NXT was last night. NXT is hit and miss with me, brother. But we'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly on that show last night. Tonight is Dynamite, Ontario, California, the hometown of the Young Bucks. We'll give you the lineup for that show. They've got a big match coming up, and there's a TBA wildcard team. We still don't know who that's going to be yet, but could be Adam Copeland and Christian. I guess we'll find out. We're also going to have Filthy Tom Lawler joining us here today. I know he wants to talk about former IWGP World Champion, MMA fighter. I don't know what's happening here, everybody, but stick around. Are we on the air, Byline?
You are. That was my fault.
Okay, that was Dom's fault, everybody. All right, where was I? Tadao Yasuda has passed away. Filthy Tom wants to talk a lot about him. Former IWGP champion, mixed martial arts fighter, Makai Club, and more. We'll talk about that. Plus, all of the rest of the news. Lesnar's returning to Raw, where that is likely going. A bunch of notes from New Japan's New Beginning in Osaka. We have a title change. We have someone likely leaving the promotion. We're going to have some ratings notes. We've got an incredible interview where Miz talks about how before going to WWE over 20 years ago, he first tried to go to Japan. Yes. Tell you about that and so much more. That is the proper music. We're going to head to a break, and when we come back, we'll get this show on the road. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. I think this show was like the best and worst of AEW.
The early story of this show was somebody almost died in every match. I thought MJF's head was going to fall off his body.
It looked like he put his own head into the mat as hard as he could.
Momo kicks Mercedes. Mercedes might have a bruised larynx.
I was certain Swerve had broken his neck.
Man, this dude landed right on his head.
Mariah May versus Toni Storm.
Good Lord.
Mariah gets her hands on a champagne bottle and smashes it right into Tony's crotch.
Some guy in the front row holds up a sign that goes, "For the sickos!"
It sure was.
It's like, well, goddamn, this was for the sickos, all
As
right.
sick as you can get.
Yes.
I did not have glass to the vajayjay on my bingo card.
I don't know why not.
I certainly
in this
hope
feud,
not.
You should have.
What kind of bingo are we playing over there? And the two big screens just read, "The End." This, in hindsight, absolutely should have ended the show.
Maybe it should have. However, I can't guarantee that this match was going to be this good with this much heat 5 hours into the live show.
Well, there's that.
Following all those matches we saw. Like,
true.
every time people say this should main event, it's like, are you sure you want that? They went Takeshi and Kenny. Another incredible match.
What is up with they have an announcer that wears a mask?
Oh, no. God, please, not this.
What is-
Anyway, the match.
What is that about?
I actually was fixing to give Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher the highest star rating on the show, but I would say that by the last 3-4 minutes, I was like, well, you did a little too much here. People are going to be mad, but it's true. We didn't need the Spanish fly off the top of the cage. This match would have been as good or better without it.
The penis first Styles Clash into the tax.
That should be a finish.
That should be a career ender. It is tomb silent.
Oh, yeah, this crowd's dead.
They've seen every single goddamn thing two human beings can do to each other, and now men are grappling.
And Jason here goes, it's go away heat, Brian. He sucks. Listen, do you guys know what go away heat is?
Listen.
There were 11,000 people in this building. It's just like when people hated Jericho. There still is no evidence that he actually ran anybody off. They just didn't want him. Like, there's a difference. You want a different champion, but who is quitting AEW because Jon Moxley retained tonight?
Put the belt on Swerve immediately, as soon as possible. It could be me, it could be you, it could be Mark, anyone.
I don't want it.
Just, it's run its course.
All right. Golly, this Moxley has heat with these people. What did you think, Mark?
Oh, I'm coming for you now. Oh, he punched him in the diverticulitis. Piss like a sprinkler.
Go
Back
out, and
forth,
we are going to do
back
what was
and
billed.
forth.
No, not like this.
There was more. There was.
It's not for me. Why do you like it
No,
so
Jason.
much? Are you guys on Tony's payroll?
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Alive. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. And Tom, before we go any further, I want to give you a chance to talk about Tadao Yasuda.
Yes, Tadao Yasuda. A legend to me. A legend as he should be to all fans of professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, fighting. This is a man who started off as a sumo competitor, later on transitioned out of sumo and became a young lion in the New Japan system, and had his greatest fame due to uncouth circumstances, I guess you could say. Tadao Yasuda was also known as the Debt King or the Borrowing Money King. He had a gambling issue that plagued his life.
Sounds like a lot of sumos had that problem.
Yeah.
He wasn't the only one.
No. It probably still continues on. However, this actually led him to his greatest fame because he took part in a mixed martial arts fight. He took part in multiple mixed martial arts fights, but he basically became a human interest story due to being able to reunite with his family, his daughter, his wife, after going into supreme debt. He fought in Pride. He actually won in Pride against Masake Satake, I believe, in just a horrific fight where he pushed him in the corner for about 20 minutes and he got the decision. He then lost to Rene Ruse, I believe, and then had his biggest win, which was over Jerome Le Banner at the Inoki Bombardier show in 2001. And Jerome Le Banner is a French kickboxer who looks like he is carved out of stone. He looks like the prototypical fighter that you would want to put in there that looks like a machine who's going to wreck shop and kill their opponent. Muscle bound, fast, KO power. But what he did not have was any skills on the ground whatsoever. And Yasuda took him down as Le Banner was tired. And Le Banner tried repeatedly to bridge and roll Yasuda. But Yasuda was like 300 pounds and, you know, over 6 feet tall. I believe he's like 6'3". So he was a big dude. And he was able to get on top and, more importantly, stay on top of Jerome Le Banner. And after repeated attempts to bridge him off, Yasuda secured an underhook. And then he took his forearm and he placed it against Jerome Le Banner's throat, and he got the tap against all odds. And due to that, he actually ended up winning the IWGP Championship in New Japan. Kazuyuki Fujita, who was also an MMA fighter, was the champion, but had to vacate the belt. And in the aftermath, Yasuda won a one-night tournament where he actually defeated fellow Pride veteran Giant Silva in that tournament, along with Yuji Nagata in the finals to win that title. And I believe he only had one defense before losing it to Nagata, but he went on to be I guess at some points, the leader of the best stable of all time in professional
and
wrestling
eights?
history, the Mackay Club.
Get out of here.
And it's a sad day when I read the news that Yasuda passed. I had the pleasure of meeting him in 2022 at the Inoki Bombaye show. He was there cornering someone. I actually believe might have been. Am I going to get this wrong? There's Sudario and his brother. I can't remember his name. God, it might be Taka Kenshin. But I think he was there cornering one of them because they were also formerly sumos and had been fighting. And he was there with his construction hat on because he was doing work getting these sumos ready. So it was a pleasure to meet him. Like, I don't know. I don't really like talk about this, but a large portion of why I even fight or fought in the past was because I was such a huge fan of pro wrestling, and pro wrestling was doing such a bad job of fighting in those early 2000s. And when I would see a guy like Yasuda or a guy like Nakamura, who actually had his first match against Yasuda, when I would see guys like that win fights, I was so pumped up. It would give me so much inspiration, and honestly, it provided inspiration throughout my fighting career and even until now to see guys like Yasuda persevere. And what a great story he had. You cannot make up a story like that. Real life presented a better storyline than anyone could have conjured up. And R.I.P. to the Det King, Tadao Yasuda.
Yeah, very sad story. He passed away age of 63. Yep. I just watched that Jerome LeBanner fight a couple of days ago. That choke at the end, I'm still.
You know what my finisher is going to be if I make it back in the ring?
It's got to be that.
It's going to be that. It's going to be the old forearm choke. He at least had the underhook
I guess.
with the right arm and then the forearm across the neck with the left. But you would see guys lose to that all the time. Nakamura beat Jan the Giant Norte.
I know. It's,
with that
it's
very
astounding.
move.
It's astounding. All right, we got a bunch of news.
Brian, back then guys
Yes.
would like tap when they would get mounted.
Well, that is true as well. All right, we got a lot to... By the way, I'm writing about the history of wrestling, and I'm sure you're well aware of, not Pancras, but the actual original Pancration.
Yes,
from the,
I actually...
original Olympic Games.
Oh, geez, where's this book that I have? I just read a book about this sort of thing.
Anyway,
Okay, continue on, sorry.
the point is that if you look back at the original Pancration, I mean, it is... Yeah, I have that.
Combat Sports in the Ancient World by
I read that
Michael
like 15 years
Polyakov.
ago. Yeah. So anyway, the original Pancras, it's like, I swear to God, if you went back in a time machine to watch Pancras in the Olympic Games, it was essentially, I can't even say it was UFC 1, because here's the thing.
You could gouge.
There were basically two, well, you weren't supposed to eye gouge, and you weren't supposed to, what was the other one? It was two UFC rules. There was no eye gouging and no, what's the other one? Eye poking. Eye poking and whatever. I'll look it up in a second. But anyway, there were the exact same two rules as UFC 1, okay? And it was exactly like MMA. You could punch, you could kick, you could throw, you could do joint locks, you could do the whole shebang. And I was thinking about it, and they trained... I guess the Spartans, when they did Pancras, you could gouge. You could do whatever you wanted. But everyone else, there were two rules. Maybe it was headbutting. But anyway, the original UFC had the same rules. And what's amazing about it is, if you watch the first UFC, it was a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. Okay? So,
Well,
biting.
there was two guys that knew what they were doing.
Yes. But it was no biting and no eye gouging. That was the Olympic rules. If you were in Sparta, you could do whatever you wanted. But anyway, if you look at that first UFC, it was like, yeah, two guys knew what they were doing and nobody else did. So these original Olympic Games would basically have been if you had UFC today with only those two rules. Like exactly like UFC 1. Because everyone back then, They knew what they were doing because you had to learn pancration, like pancration. You know, they trained the military in pancration. Because if you lost your sword and your shield and your spear or whatever, it was hand to the death. And so it was just amazing. You can see like in Egypt, they've got like these drawings of like this grappling, and it's like there's single leg takedowns, and there's some dude looks like he's throwing a backdrop. This other dude's lifting this guy up.
You could go back to Sumeria, brother.
Well, yes, but I'm pointing out this particular one. This guy's he's lifted this guy for a pile driver. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sitting.
I got that one down. Sounds like my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay.
What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How do you have that so quickly?
Ridiculously fast answer.
You've thought about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack.
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody.
Goody, she says. The news of you having a...
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit.
Eminem?
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment, Granny reads rapper names. That's
I'm an M.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here. Hey, did you read the story in that book about the most famous pancration fight in history?
I'm sure I did.
I can't remember the guy's name. It was like Archelaus or something. But anyway, this guy was in, I think it was the Olympics, and he was in pancration, and he gets put in a choke. He's getting choked out. And I presume the other idiot crossed his feet. But anyway, as he's in the choke, he manages to break this guy's toe or ankle, depending on the story. And the other guy's in so much pain that he taps out. And the referee goes to raise a dude's hand that was in the choke. He's dead. Mm-hmm. The only person in history to ever win a fight while dead. Although we have seen that finish in pro wrestling and mixed martial arts many times, just with unconsciousness. But yeah,
Well, we saw Ricochet die and still win.
some
last
things
week.
never change, in fact. All right, we got a lot of news. Let's see. Brock Lesnar is scheduled for the February 23rd edition of Raw. State Farm Arena, Atlanta, Georgia. His first appearance since the 2026 Royal Rumble in Riyadh. And we'll probably know more about WrestleMania. I presume, this is not 100%, but I presume that Lesnar's opponent is Obafemi. That was not said to be 100% even after what they did at the Rumble, but I don't know what other match you do, unless you want to do Lesnar and you could do Lesnar and Gunther, but I think Obafemi beating Brock Lesnar would be a much bigger deal. And if Lesnar is going to retire in 2026, which is rumored, a lot of retirements coming up, I would have Obafemi beat him at Mania and Gunther beat him in his last match at SummerSlam. Although you could do the other way around. But I just see with what they're doing with Gunther that Gunther retiring Brock, I think, would be more likely. But he's coming back soon.
Where do you see Gunther fitting in for WrestleMania? Because I think he should just retire somebody else. R-Truth.
Who's available?
Nakamura.
Well, see, Gunther is, I think Gunther...
The career killer needs to kill another career.
Here's what I picture, okay? In the old days, whoever was going to WrestleMania had to beat the frickin' giant, Big Show, whoever, some big guy. So my presumption is that Gunther and Cody are going to end up in the chamber, and it will come down to Gunther versus Cody, and Cody will beat Gunther to get the big shove towards WrestleMania and getting a title shot.
I don't even feel Cody and Drew is going to be the match.
I think it'd be a three-way, if anything.
I feel there's more people involved.
Like a four-person?
Maybe even more. Because I don't think Cody or Drew attacked Jacob Fatu. I think it was probably Randy Orton or Damian Priest.
I think it was 100% Randy Orton. Because they keep mentioning that someone kicked his teeth down his throat, and he had teeth all over, remember? Mm-hmm. And there's one guy that uses that punt when he's really angry, and it's Randy Orton. So I'll bet you anything Randy Orton is the guy that kicked his teeth down his throat.
Well, they could certainly do an Orton versus Fatu singles at Mania.
Yes.
But
Hiromu?
Drew versus Cody to main event a night? Are we going to get a different main event? Are the women get a main event? Are we going to get Rio versus somebody?
I would be surprised to see a women's tag main event.
That's the most pushed belt
depending on
in
how
the women's division right now.
Big the match is, you could do.
Is it not? That's the most prestigious title that they have in the women's division.
Yeah.
Is those tag belts. But
literally, they're not headlining WrestleMania unless The Rock is on one of the teams. That's the only time they've ever done it with a tag team match. And yes, this would be the fourth time that Cody and Drew have wrestled each other.
That's not true. Didn't the Usos win?
They won the tag titles from... Usos won the tag titles from... Who'd they win them from?
I don't know.
I don't think that main evented the night, did it?
Was it maybe like Owens and
Zayn.
Stone Cold after that or something?
Yeah, they went after that, I think. All right, Hiromu has wrestled his final match in New Japan. He wrestled his final match at New Beginning in Osaka, teaming with Taiji Ishimori to defeat Jacob Austin Young and Francesco Akira. Of course, you know how it is in New Japan. Hiromu was on his way out, so he got the win. He submitted Jay. So, Lance notes that Mania 1 was a tag match. Well, yeah, you didn't have The Rock, but you had Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. So, that's about equivalent.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated the Usos in the main event.
Oh, yeah, they won the titles.
Yeah.
And then Stone Cold was, the next day? He had to be night 2, right?
Well, I don't think Kevin Owens wouldn't have done back-to-back main event nights.
So Hiromu started saying his goodbyes. He was jumped by Akira, who smashed him with a steel chair. Robbie X ran down to make the save, and both X and Ishimori raised Hiromu's hands as he said goodbye. God, they just let these guys leave with their head held high on top. It's crazy.
The first ever WrestleMania was headlined by a tag
That's
match.
what I just said.
Oh.
Mr. T.
I don't
He's the equivalent to The Rock in 1985. That guy was so over, guys. Mr. T in 1985.
I had a Mr. T starter kit when I was a kid.
Wow. Yota Tsuji allowed Takahashi to speak at the very end of the show following his IWGP Heavyweight title defense. I heard that match was terrible. I know that's hard to believe, that Yota Tsuji and Jake Lee was said to be terrible.
Oh, he wasn't on that Jake Lee espresso?
But apparently it was. And also, David Finlay strongly hinted that he was leaving following his match with Callum Newman, where he did lose clean. And Newman mocked him. Finlay recovered, quickly became emotional, hugged everybody, bowed in front of Hiromu, and made his exit. So, obviously, there's a lot of talk, like, is he going to AEW? Is he going to WWE? I until about yesterday, presumed he was most likely going to AEW. And maybe he still is. But on NXT last night, they are filming a second, or they're putting together a second generation faction, and Lexis King is there, and Ariana with Stax.
Uriah Connors is like 8th generation, isn't he?
Uriah
4th.
Connors is David Finlay's brother, and Lexis King said, like, we just need that last guy or whatever, the last piece of the puzzle, and Uriah did say, well, I'm going to go talk to my father. So that made me think, my God, maybe David Finlay's coming in to lead the second-generation crew in NXT. I guess we shall find. Drilla Maloney has renewed his contract. And those were the big comings and goings. There was a title change. Ren Narita beat Aaron Wolf quickly.
What the hell are they doing? Could you imagine Ogawa coming in and losing to freaking House of Torture?
3 minutes.
What? What? You know what the highest priced item at the Totocon was years ago when I was there? More expensive than Inoki's robe or Andy Hoog's sparring gear and shorts? A freaking Aaron Wolf gi. And now he's jobbing a Ren Narita. Even I didn't lose to Ren Narita. What?
Well, the only thing people are speculating is maybe the guy was hurt. I actually have no idea.
Who cares?
I'll watch it tonight. But, Aaron Wolf, 3 minutes defeated by Ren Narita.
One of the best matches I've ever seen in my life was Naoya Ogawa beating Tadao Yasuda in 1:38. All he did was go out there and smash him and beat him up. They could have done that if he's hurt.
I don't know.
You can't job this guy out already.
We got the Knockout Brothers successfully retaining the IWGP Tag Team titles against Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura. And then Ricochet and the Gates of Agony appeared on the video screen. And Ricochet said they'd be taking over New Beginning USA, called out Taiji Ishimori for a national title match. Bishop Khan and Toa Leona challenged Yuto, Ice, and Oscar. So, February 27th, everybody. New Beginning USA. Yota Tsuji versus Andrade, who won his match. That's for the IWGP Global title. Ricochet versus Taiji Ishimori for the national title. Knockout Brothers against GOA for the tag titles. Tomohiro Ishii versus Bolton Oleg for the strong openweight title. Syuri versus Athena for the IWGP women's title. And El Phantasmo versus Takeshita for the world TV title. There's some very interesting matches actually on this show.
How many New Japan matches are there?
How many New Japan matches?
Yeah, it seems like it's a whole lot of AEW.
Well, Ishii and Bolton Oleg, Phantasmo and Takeshita. Takeshita is under New Japan contract. And, there are a lot of AEW matches. First off, Yota Tsuji against Andrade is not for the IWGP title. It's for the global title. He could lose that match to Andrade. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Andrade is now doing the belt collector gimmick. He's got like 4 indie titles that he has already won, and he's going for Mercedes record, I guess. And also, I mean, Takeshi and Phantasmo for the world TV title. I mean, they going to beat Takeshita here? I don't think he's going to win that TV title. So he's pretty well protected, but that's an interesting match right there.
Even in New Japan canon, you think Phantasmo would beat him? I mean, he's coming off the G1 win
I know.
last year. He was the champion.
It's
That
a
would
really
be-
weird match.
Yeah, I would think he's winning that.
I mean, I guess he could win the TV title, but we shall see. Some new information regarding AJ Styles' retirement and contract status. We'll be up after the break, and we'll also do NXT as well. Observer Live. Check out this free video, and make sure you hit like and subscribe. Hey, listen, we're going to start with the real main event of the weekend. We witnessed with our own eyes Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean with Dan Severn as the special guest referee. The worst match in the history of professional wrestling.
We all knew it was going to be a train wreck.
Oh, yeah.
I said, this is going to be a train wreck. I want to see this train wreck. I must see this train wreck.
I will give credit to Butterbean. Butterbean was very, very fat, and I don't think that he could walk. And he spent a lot of time with DDP.
Yes.
Did a lot of DDP yoga.
Yes.
And DDP literally got him back on his feet.
Yeah.
The entire first round is just like standing there. And the brawling's kind of like, and Suzuki like throws, he finally gives him a good one. How'd you like that one? So Butterbean falls to the ground by holding onto the top rope, squatting down a little, grabbing the middle rope, squatting down a little further, and then he lays on the ground. The crowd's chanting "Fight Forever," which sounds like a horrible idea.
Yes.
So the ring announcer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have just heard from the special enforcer, Dan the Beast Severn. He has ruled that the match is a double countout." And the fans are like, "What? Boo!" And they're all angry. And I'm like, this is the most ballsy match I've ever seen. I heard a rumor that Suzuki was talking to someone before the show about this match. And he was like, "This match, very bad." And the person was like, "Minoru, dude, it's going to be fine. Like, you can do this. You're great. This match is going to end up fine." And Suzuki said, "No." That was it. Okay. And I got in just in time to see Minoru Suzuki versus the Sex Doll. And people were very upset that I did not refer to the Sex Doll by her name.
Yoshihiko.
I have great respect for the Sex Doll as a non-person because the Sex Doll is not a person. But there's a reason.
It's a doll.
There's a reason.
For sex.
Is he going to wrestle a sex doll and have a better match with a doll than he had with Butterbean? And the answer is yes.
Emphatically. The Butterbean match exposed the business much more than this match.
Yes, in fact it did.
The match with the Sex Doll was far more realistic. It was far more believable. It was far more credible. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating or making this up.
Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. We'll get to NXT in a second, but a couple of other notes. PW Insider had a weird story. They said that WWE and AJ Styles had been in talks for a new contract, but with the Royal Rumble approaching and no new deal locked in, the decision was made to go with Styles versus Gunther in the retirement match. But then it says that Styles' idea was to end his career at the Royal Rumble because it's the same PLE where he made his WWE debut in 2016. These two things don't gel to me. I mean, we already know that over a year ago, or about a year ago, Styles did a speech in Japan. Nakamura went up to him and said, "You know, it sounds like you got one foot out the door." And AJ told him months and months and months and months ago that he was retiring at the Royal Rumble 2026. And I mean, maybe they were in talks for a new contract to do something after his retirement, but this is making it sound like if they'd come to an agreement, he was going to continue to wrestle throughout 2026, but they couldn't come to a deal, and so he retired instead at the place where he said he was going to retire a year ago. So I'm skeptical of this whole thing, but that's what they said. I mean, I'm sure he's probably trying to get a contract to do something backstage with WWE, unless he happens to wrestle somewhere. I do not rule out him going to New Japan. I do not rule out him doing AEW. My gut tells me he's probably not, but I don't rule it out. Also, when it comes to stories that don't make sense, Fightful is claiming that Samoa Joe is currently in concussion protocol. Now, I'm not doubting that report. I think that probably is true. What I am doubting, or what I am questioning, is a couple of weeks ago when Joe was not on the show, they made it very clear that he had suffered a non-contact injury. That's what they said, non-contact injury. And I even asked Dave, like, what's a non-contact injury? And he thought it meant, well, probably not in the ring, and maybe he hurt himself lifting or something like that. But now they say that he's in concussion protocol. How do you get a concussion with a how do you get a non-contact concussion? He thought really hard? So, yeah. Doesn't appear it was a non-contact injury at all. A couple of other quick notes, and we'll do NXT. Just some ratings notes. We've talked about how things have changed. They've tweaked this Big Data Plus panel. SmackDown did benefit yet again. 1.459 million viewers, up 16% from the previous week, and a 0.35 in 18 to 49, which is up 20% from the week prior, and is basically at the level of what they were doing before Big Data Plus panel. So it is possible, it is very possible, that they figured out this 18 to 49 thing, and these numbers are getting back to where they should be. Collision was not helped as much. They did 388,000 viewers, which was down 21% from the prior week, and a 0.07, which was the same as last week. They did go head-to-head with the Winter Olympics, so that's actually a pretty good number going head-to-head with the Olympics. And finally, Miz did the 6 Feet Under podcast with The Undertaker, and this is what he said. Before trying out with WWE, I called Simon Dean. Do you remember Simon Dean? I called him because he was part of UPW. I said, hey, I want some respect in this business, and I know if I go on Tough Enough, I won't get any respect. I didn't do it the right way. And Simon Dean said, it's for $1 million. It's for $1 million WWE contract. How many opportunities do you think you're going to get that? This is your opportunity. This is your time. I said, all right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. He says, I tried to go to Japan. They wouldn't take me. Like every time I tried going to 0-1, they would come in and we would wrestle. We'd do a match. I think my match would be great. It wasn't. But I thought at the time I was really special. But, yep, Japan would never take me. So I was like, well, this is an opportunity. So I tried out for Tough Enough, gave it full force, didn't win, but got a contract and ended up getting into developmental. So, yes, The Miz went to 0-1. Founded by Shinya Hashimoto.
Could you imagine? We could have had The Miz against Naoya Ogawa. We could have had The Miz against Low Key.
I think he's lucky his career ended up going the way it did. Good for him. All right, Tom, let's do the NXT report. What did you think of the show?
Sucked.
Really?
I did not. I mean,
it
as
had
an
its
overall
ups and
show,
downs.
It took me forever to get through. There was like 20 segments. Way too many segments. Way too many. That's my biggest complaint. We open up with Joe Hendry, the new face of NXT and the champion. He cut a pretty standard promo before the Vanity Project came out to the ring. And Evolve champion Jackson Drake feigned drawing inspiration from Hendry. The NXT crowd told him, shut the hell up. What a nice bunch of folks there. Drake admitted that it was the Vanity Project who attacked Joe Hendry weeks ago, So Hendry tried to fight them all off, but they beat him down, and Drake hit a running knee strike and posed with his Evolve title as the segment ended. Zarya was on her phone backstage. Soul and her questioned each other about the miscommunication last week. They said they need to get on the same page tonight.
I thought the best part of that opening segment, by the way, was when Jackson Drake tried to take his shirt off and he got handcuffed. He couldn't get the sleeves off because they were too tight. And it's embarrassing enough, and then Booker has to go, having trouble getting that shirt off. That poor geek.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be a geek, so.
Yeah, but this was like legitimate geekiness.
Kinda supposed to be.
Like he couldn't get his shirt off.
Robert Stone got bullied by Keanu Carver because he gave Jackson Drake a title shot already. Stone basically said Shawn Michaels wants chaos, so he's going to reward it, and Keanu heard that loud and clear. Robert Stone's having like an existential crisis the entire show with every decision he makes. He's like, oh. He looks like he's about to cry.
Does this guy know he's in charge? Like, he's just getting bullied by this Keanu Carver. It's like, suspend this guy. Ava's gone, brother. You're in charge. No mention of Ava whatsoever, including the Vanity Project later revealing, we are the ones that beat you up, Joe Hendry. They don't mention that Ava's the one that put him into the match anyway, that Ava believed them, that Ava... It's just like, yeah, we lied. We did it.
Jada Parker and Blake Monroe had a match.
Yikes.
Yeah. They had a striking battle. Blake Monroe won. She high-stepped to mock Jada, head scissored her into the ropes. Jada made her come back. They ended up brawling on the floor forever. They brawled for like 30 seconds. The referee counts them out, and the announcers are like, what? Just like that? Just like that? It's like they were out there for an eternity.
Bro, if you watch this show, there's people out of the ring for like an hour, and they never get counted out. This finish sucked, but I got to give him credit. At least they didn't beat Jada. And then they had a brawl afterwards, and Jada's killing all these nerds. All I got to say is if anybody,
some dude in the nards.
If anybody working in NXT watched this segment and determined we need to go hard with Blake Monroe, perhaps that person needs to be moved to another department.
They need to go hard with Miss Parker.
Yeah, you know what? Those of us that actually watched the show have known that for almost a year now, and their solution
cooled her off.
Was to take her off TV for months. I'm still bitter about 2025 in NXT. That's 2019 WWE levels of incompetence.
Hey, I'll tell you what I'm not bitter about was this video package.
Yeah, how did this end up on this show?
This Tatum Paxley video package was freaking fantastic.
This is the best video package I've probably seen all year. And it's on NXT about Tatum Paxley.
Tatum Paxley's talking about suffocating around Izzy Dame. She's floating through space, descending further and further while losing sight of who she is. Then she decides, through her own words, to let go. And in the process, she begins to float to the surface in a shining light through a maze of thorns. She said she will walk out at the end of this as the Tatum Paxley she was meant to be. This was freaking awesome. Like, I would watch an entire 2 hours of this. We had your Uriah Connors, Cale Dixon argument backstage, along with Lexus Stacks and Ariana rolling up. They said Cale can't understand where they're coming from as multiple generation athletes. Vic Joseph started asking about a felon. Hey, the country's looking for a felon right now. A little tone deaf to the big news stories.
Yeah, that was weird.
Then the psycho killer appears.
Yeah, he's
what
in the crowd.
The hell was this? This was like one of those bondage guys with a fart mask on, sitting in the crowd. And then they just cut away to a speed match between Josh Briggs and Eli Knight. Eli Knight wins.
Josh Briggs has to be on the cutting block.
Yes, this does not bode well for the future of Josh Briggs.
I expect him to sign with like All Japan or or even New Japan at any time.
Jasper Troy laid out Elio LaFleur and Eli Knight as they faced off. And hey, you know what? I hope he does that next week too, and I hope they make it a three-way, and then they can get the belt off him without beating him. God. Lola Vice got beat up by Kalani. Keanu Carver beat up like 40 dudes in the locker room. There was a Dark State promo. The Gooner guy threatened Tony D. Saquon Sugars trash talked the culling. The Culling came out. OTM came out. The Belly Boys came out. Tony D then laid out Dion Lennox in the ring as there was a brawl on the floor. Stone said OTM, the Culling, and Hank and Tank are a triple threat next week. The winner gets a shot at Dark State. Shiloh Hill's acting all weird. Robert Stone sees him. Ethan Page rolls in. Stone asks what he could do for the champ. Page refuses to defend against a bunch of guys, but he still wants to set the title defense record for the North American belt. And then Shiloh Hill rolls back in, and Robert Stone makes the match. Shiloh Hill and Ethan Page. Joe Hendry took on Jackson Drake. This match wasn't much.
I actually thought it was a pretty good match.
Hendry,
I mean, it wasn't like great or anything.
power
but,
bombed
like,
him, hit the standing ovation.
We're
he got the
watching
win.
NXT here, dude. I mean, I'll take this.
Hooded Ricky Saints attacked Hendry after the match. Hank and Tank lost to Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes. Booker T said the Belly Boys were Megalodons and Great Whites. And Vic said, well, these Great Whites. And Booker T goes, no, Megalodons! Megalodons! Well, anyways, I don't even know what. Brad Baylor and those guys won. So I don't know what's happening now. It's a 4-way next week, I guess.
Yes.
Zaruka beat Kendall and Ren in the main event.
Wait, what about Hank and Tank? Oh, you talked about that one. Never mind. I thought you were talking about
Yeah, I had to
the other
move on quickly.
Yes, we got plenty
the
of
main
time, so
event.
Go ahead.
You got something you want to say about that match?
Well, we had Kelly Kincaid's last night,
Really?
and she professionally interviewed Sean Legacy. Yep. She's been cut, and they didn't give her an option, she says, to even accept a contract renewal. So she's done after today.
Robert Stone actually told Miles Bourne to do something out of character.
Yeah.
So he told him to cause chaos, by the way. So that's probably going to come back to haunt him. And then Zaruka took on Kendall and Ren. And at the end, there was a blind tag by Soul. Zarya and Soul both hit their finishers at the same time on the opposition. But of course, Soul had tagged in and wins the fall and becomes the number one contender to JC Jane's NXT title. Why is there a tag rope? Because they were nowhere near the tag rope. Soul was not holding it. They go,
you
this
thought
is up
you
to
had
the
that
referees.
blind tag?
No, this is up to the referees. Yes, this is up to the referee's discretion. But why? Why is it up to the ref's discretion? There's video replay in every other freaking sport on the planet. Why not try to make the correct call?
You need to be on the Bryan and Vinny show Thursday so we can really unleash about this finish. And not only the finish, the aftermath when Soul and Zarya didn't break up again. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We all went to the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view in the Tacoma Dome. What a dump.
They've remodeled in the last 5 years.
I don't want to watch a show in the Tacoma Dome. I'm over that part of my life.
So this is all about
I
you,
want
okay.
It is all about me. It's my show.
Yep.
Sick of these crappy dumps.
Rico. Yes. Rico Constantino.
Mm-hmm.
When Rico Constantino showed up on the screen, I almost fainted.
If you would have slapped me with a bass, I would have been less surprised.
A bass,
Yeah.
you say?
Excuse me.
You heard me.
Now, you mean the fish or like a bass, the instrument?
No, a bass.
Well, he would have said a bass if he meant a bass.
Shibata hooks a rear naked choke, and Shibata's shoulders were down, and the referee counted 3.
I don't care what happened in Florida in 1973.
That is an Eddie Graham babyface finish when he wanted to heel to get a fluke win.
The crowd hated it.
Hated it.
You know, people are upset that Adam Cole's back as a babyface or whatever.
Why?
But, dude, he's been gone for a year. So they obviously want to do Adam Cole and MJF. MJF is a heel.
Mhm.
So obviously Adam Cole is coming back as a babyface.
Yes. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. My rating for this match was 1 zillion stars. I believe this may be my new favorite 3-way ever. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
You have
Not
to
a
say it in
fun
such a
match.
sad way.
Yes! It was sad. It was a sad match.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, before we even get to the post-match. The whole thing, start to finish, was sad. It was meant to bum you, the fans, out.
It worked.
It worked. It elicited emotions, which is what art is supposed to do.
It was very much like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when Undertaker retired him. And, like, that's exactly what happened, is everyone just slowly stood up and quietly, sadly walked out of the building that night.
There was one gentleman that was walking by us, and he was dripping in Bryan Danielson's merchandise. And he was wailing. And he cried, I forget my language, I can't believe they punked out my favorite wrestler like a bitch. And he was so
Wow.
upset.
And we go into that press conference. All I got to say about Don Callis is, man, I can't help but notice he's got a big mouth when he's got Takeshita right next to him, doesn't he?
That was a scintillating question. And I think maybe after that, we're finally, the Bryan and Vinny show might actually just be the Bryan show. That was producer Rob level stuff right there. Need to work on your game a little bit. Okay. Next.
Rob's so excited and happy now. He texted me today. So it looks like I'm feuding with Don Callis. Ha ha. That's what he texted me.
That's not the way I took it at all. I looked at his wiener and now he's mad at me. Duh.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom is joining us.
Brian, can I amend something?
Yes.
On my report on that main event match, because I said that Zaruka both hit their finishers at the same time, which is not what happened. Zarya hit the F5. Sol Ruka actually missed the Soul Snatcher and just crushed Kendall Gray.
It was weird because, this one, I love Kendall. This was her fault. Maybe.
She was too close.
She was too close, and she bumped too early, and Soul landed right on the back of her head. The only thing that I will say where maybe it wasn't her fault was as they were going for this spot, Zarya was going for the F5 on Ren in the middle of the ring, and she's spinning her around like Terry Funk with a ladder. And so Kendall had to hit the ropes, and she actually had to duck under to go take the Soul Snatcher, and I think it screwed up everybody's timing. So, she was the person ultimately that was out of position, but I think she was out of position because two other people were out of position, and she had to try to work around them. But she seemed okay.
It actually looked worse than the regular Soul Snatcher, so in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of like Thea Hale's crushing of Blake Monroe. It actually looked more vicious than it is intended.
Begging for Soul and Zarya to break up. They fought throughout the match. They shoved each other. They argued with each other. And then they lose. Actually, Soul wins, and Zarya is angry.
The crowd wanted Ren Sinclair to win.
But
they heard HBK.
The point is, they just look at each other after the match. They just look at each other. They still have not broken up yet. I'm so over these things stretching out for so long.
They're worse than us.
They are. This show stretched out too long. I got to go. I'll be back with After Dark. We'll be up at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern with a brand new show. And then I'll be back later on tonight with Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio. Lots of stuff to get into, so check it out, everybody. And that's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.